there's another point that is quite important and easy for everybody to check for themselves. It's the point of information and the power of information and where it comes from and who decides which information is being put out and which is kept hidden. So at the beginning of Auroville, when Auroville started, obviously the mother decided which information was put out, and the brochures and everything passed by her. And that was one point, but that only lasted for 5 years. And after these first 5 years, where everything that was put out about Auroville passed through the mother, after that, the fight with the Sri Aurobindo Society broke out. And then what? Who then decided which information about Auroville was put out? And so first, of course, it would be mainly the society, but of course, because of the fight, the society lost its grip over Auroville, lost its ownership of Auroville. So already by the end of the 70s, of course, there were several sources of information back then, but by 1980, when the Auroville Emergency Provisions Act was passed, at that moment the society lost its grip over Auroville, and the information that came out was put out, in fact, by the people who had started to fight the society, which is the faction that wanted to own Auroville, to get ownership of Auroville. The same faction that now has lost that de facto ownership, even though they didn't have the de jure, the legal ownership. But these same people who had won the fight against the society back then, they are now fighting the new secretary, new governing board and the foundation. So these people from 1980 got a monopoly on the information that was put out about Auroville. We all saw the pictures, we all know what it looked like here, we all know that Auroville back then was very isolated. It was only 15 kilometers from Pondicherry, but still, it was a place without running water, without electricity. And so it's very, how do you get to know what happens there? It's so isolated, it's so far away somehow from civilized society, so to speak, without being condescending. So it's how can you know what happened here unless you came here and watched it for yourself? But if you then went out and told anybody what you saw, who would believe you? What statute do your words have? So what reach do you get? And so the people who won over the society, they immediately received the monopoly about the information about Auroville, because they were the winners, they were the Aurovillians, they were the owners, between quotes, they were the owners of Auroville, and so they would decide what information about Auroville would be put out. Now imagine, we're 2026, 1980, and even already before. How many decades? That's 50 years almost, that one little group of people has the monopoly in the world to put out information about Auroville. It's insane. It means that everything you and I heard about Auroville before coming here, everything we heard and knew of was put out by these people. Everything. Imagine, in these court cases, there are judges that need to judge about Auroville issues, and the only thing they have known about Auroville before judging these cases is what has been put out by the petitioners. I mean, it's insane. If you think of it, and everybody can think this and can think this through for themselves and can get to understand this, the monopoly of information was purely with a small fraction of people here. The same people that built their kingdoms here and are now removed from this position. So even if the BCC at that time 15, 16, 17 years ago came here and made a very critical short documentary about Auroville. It was more of an item in Newsnight. Even if that was very critical of what was going on here, still it could hardly make a dent in the reputation of Auroville that was created already by the people who had the monopoly on the information about Auroville. Such a thing is, it's a hell of a power to have, and it's a hell of a power to lose, and that's why they're so livid about it and they want it back. And so this is the thing. Today, the same people who had a monopoly for 50 years about the information are claiming to tell you the truth about Auroville. It's up to you to figure out what the truth is, because we say to you, there's much more to be found here than what you heard. So now we're trying to get the world to understand that this was a monopoly of information. It was not necessarily the truth, and all the claims that are being made today are absolutely not necessarily the truth. You can come and figure it out, because what is happening here is a much, much needed cleanup. Jai Ma, Jai Hind.